Hello my friends, Chris Cooking Nashville here, headed to work this morning. Gonna do a health vlog for you guys here really quickly. You will be seeing this at the earliest on Tuesday or whatever day you may come across this video. For me it is a Monday. Tomorrow, Ash and I are filming a music video for her upcoming release of her cover of Santa Looked a Lot Like Daddy. So I'm going to, in the description down below, I'm going to put the link for pre-save for that. That's coming out on Friday, Black Friday here. Would love to know what you guys think. We have put a lot of work and a lot of time into recording this. We're going to be putting a lot of time into the music video, and I think it's just going to be really cool. So that is basically all day tomorrow. I'm taking off work. We're going to be shooting that music video. Big celebration, big victory for me. Yesterday, I stepped on the scale. I was 258.1. That is the first time that I have been under 260 pounds. I know for sure since probably like 2015, 2017, I don't know, somewhere back in there. It's been so long, I actually don't really even remember exactly when it would have been. I was looking through old emails and I found an email that said back when I before I knew what keto or carnivore or any of that stuff was, I had actually reached out to try to be a part of a volunteer research thing for this like juice fast program guy, and I had done his juice fast, like raw vegan fresh made juice fasting, right? I had done his program before, reached out because he was looking for people to be involved in like a research thing they were doing where they were going to do a smoothie, like a blended smoothie version, where instead of doing the filtered juices with, you know, the expensive juicer, you could just use like a blender, which, you know, I have a Vitamix, and I was like, oh, I want to be a part of that. And in that email, I said I was over 300 pounds, had been for a while, and I was talking about the fact that I was like 28 or 29 years old. And I mean, I'm 35 now, so I've been over 300 pounds for a long time, and because I'm sure I had been over 300 pounds for a long time before that. Being under 260 for the first time in so long is awesome. I'm really excited about that. Y'all, when you do this, set goals for yourself and don't beat yourself up when you don't get to them as fast as you may think you should or whatever. Just keep going. You know, I've had several weeks where I've come on here and I'm like, I haven't lost anything. And there's been a couple of times I've come on here for health vlogs and I've even said I've gained a couple of pounds, you know? That's totally okay. That is just part of how our body works. It does not lose weight linearly. It does not just go from up to down. It goes back and forth. And it fluctuates back and forth with fluid, and, you know, sometimes you retain fluid or sometimes you lose a bunch of fluid, or there's a bunch of different things that can affect what your weight is on any given day. So there's something to be said for setting goals and always pushing and tracking what you're doing and knowing the data. Absolutely. But there's also something to be said for realizing you're a human being and we are not just science experiments. We're not totally linear from top to bottom. It's not like we're going to just start losing weight and it's just going to be a downward trend that never changes. So give yourself some grace. Understand that you're a human, and the way that you lose weight or the way you get healthier or these different things, it changes, it varies, it modifies, it moves back and forth, and that's okay. When you can wrap your mind around that, this becomes a lot more sustainable of a thing to do, because you realize, okay, I started out, I was losing, 5 to 10 pounds a week as my body is flushing fluid. I cannot expect my body to continue to do that just until I wake up one day and I'm an ideal body weight and then suddenly my body stops losing weight. Like, our body doesn't work that way. I certainly slowed down losing weight. When I started doing this, I started doing it, losing that 5 to 10 pounds, which I sort of knew was going to happen because I'd done it before. And then it slowed down. And, now I'm like 1 to 2 pounds every week to 2 weeks is kind of my average. Every now and then, like this one, like I was retaining some fluid, probably with the surgery on my teeth, the antibiotics I was on, and like all this kind of stuff. I'm sure my body was probably hanging on to some fluid and had junk in there, and You know, my teeth had some infection, I know, and so I was dealing with some of those kinds of things when I went in for surgery. Even after the surgery is done, like, all that has to heal, and the infection has to get run out of there. You know, there's a lot of different things that my body has to do that have nothing to do with burning fat. Sometimes we have to be okay with the fact that maybe although we want to see the fat come off, maybe our body knows better than we do what it needs to do for health and survival. Maybe it needs to do something that doesn't include taking fat off of your waist, even though that's the thing you're focused on. So I'm not surprised that I finally started losing again, you know, and I'm sure I was retaining fluid and everything, but I'm doing well and I'm feeling good. So all of that's coming off. I'm going to encourage you guys, whatever your goals are, whether it's weight loss, weight gain, hopefully weight gain through muscle and bulking up bone and healthy tissue, and you're not looking to gain fat. Whether you're trying to do that or if you're trying to heal some kind of health issue, or you have symptoms that you're not sure if they're related to keto, carnivore type things could solve that, or, you know, maybe you have something like Hashimoto's, or you have some kind of metabolic issue, or whatever it is, pain, any of these things, set a goal for yourself. Do the research to figure out what it is that's going to get you there, and find the most sustainable way that you can possibly do it, and then just go do the work and give yourself time and patience and have grace with yourself. It's not going to be a linear journey. It's not going to go from point A to point B in a straight line as fast as you set a goal for yourself. It's just not going to happen. You may lose a whole bunch of weight real fast, or you may notice some real improvement in symptoms, but then there's probably going to be some stuff that is stubborn and hangs around, or some symptoms that don't seem to want to go away, and you just can't give yourself 30 days and then say, well, it's not all going away, and then start panicking and start doing all of this. This is something I see a lot of people do, and I get people in the comment section that ask questions, and this is not a criticism, it's just an observation, but they ask questions about these different things. They make comments that they want recipes that include certain things or don't include certain things or whatever, because, well, I'm trying this because I'm still not losing the weight that I want, or I'm still not seeing this improvement, and so now I'm doing this and now I'm doing that, and sometimes you absolutely have to do that. You have to figure out what works best for you. But sometimes I also get the impression that certain comments are based on someone who is reacting out of fear, almost out of panic, because it's not going the way they think it should be going, and they're trying to figure out, how do I force it? How do I jumpstart it? How do I make it happen, because I'm still not seeing the results I want? Sometimes those comments come from people that have done this for like 3 or 4 years and they're still not seeing the final result they want. I totally understand you're playing with the variables and you're figuring out what is your exact proper diet that makes you feel the best. That's very smart. But sometimes I get those comments and it's people that have done this for 2 or 3 months. Well, I'm not seeing this and I'm not seeing that, and dairy is like really inflaming me, I think, and I can't have egg whites because when I do, it seems to cause this or whatever. And they may absolutely be right. I'm not judging and saying they're not. But sometimes you also have to remember that your body is going to do things and take its time, and it might just need a little bit of extra patience. One of the good examples of this that I had to learn, and I'm saying this because I used to be on the other side of that whole thing. One of the things I really had to learn was that when my body is getting ready to burn fat, it seems to dump oxalates, toxins, weird, whatever it is that it's held on to for years and years. And that stuff makes me sick, and it makes me irritable, and it makes me have pain, and it makes me tired, and like all these different things. Like I struggle with little things, and it's getting better and better all the time. But when my body is getting ready to lose weight, some of my various symptoms of whether it's IBS or skin issues, irritability, fatigue, and any of these like emotional things I go through when I'm eating a standard American diet or going way too heavy on like plant matter or whatever, some of those come back a little bit. Not like as bad, but I mean, some of those things do return. For a long time I used to think, well, what could I have possibly eaten? I didn't have anything that should have caused this. There's no way. And then as I've done this for longer and I've done more research and I've tracked more data, I've started to realize that after that happens, almost every single time, like reliably, you could set your watch within like 2 to 3 days, I'm going to lose 1 to 3 pounds. Every single time it has happened, I started noticing that pattern. That's one of the reasons that I've done the weighing daily kind of thing from time to time. I don't recommend you do that, but that's one of the things that I did because I was tracking data, trying to figure out, like, is there a pattern to something I'm missing? And I ended up finding that pattern in myself. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. I can't say exactly what is going on there. I have my own theories and hypotheses, but generally it seems to be my body breaks down fat, takes toxins or junk or whatever's been stored in those fat cells for years, puts it out into the bloodstream so that it can get filtered out, because it's going to have to get filtered out. And while it's around the bloodstream, a little of it goes here and there and causes some issues. And it makes sense because that stuff was causing issues before. Why wouldn't it do it again? That's just a pattern that I've seen. And I can't really say that I have exact scientific proof or evidence of why I know for sure or don't know for sure or whatever that's happening. But based on the data that I've tracked in my own body, my N=1 experiment, that seems to be a thing that's happening for me. So all I'm saying here is don't panic and don't jump at the very first thing you see to try to force your body to lose more weight. Now, if you see something and you think it's going to help you and you think you want to try it, it makes you feel better when you cut something out or when you add something in, or that's fantastic. And definitely don't let anybody tell you that you're doing it wrong. I still get the whole "you're not a true carnivore" comment from time to time. It confuses me because it's like, at the end of the day, who cares? If I feel like the best that I feel and I'm losing weight and I'm dealing with my health issues and I'm stable and sustainable in what I'm doing, what does it matter whether I use some spices or not? Like, it's just, you're focusing on the wrong things if that's what you think about. So you guys can only do the work that you can do to figure out what works for you best. And you live inside your own body. You know better than anybody how you feel. If you find something that works and you know that that's the right way, do it and continue to do the research and be objective and be honest with yourself about patterns and do what you got to do to make your best health happen. But that's how you do it. One thing you have to remember is sometimes people need to address a psychological element here. It's not just about the physiological side. And this is the reason that I make recipes. I missed being in the kitchen and being creative. When I was being really strict, like meat, salt, water, carnivore, I missed being able to cook for people. I missed being creative in the kitchen. And I missed the fun of trying to come up with different dishes or learn to cook new things or whatever. You know, I see this all the time. People say food is not entertainment, food is fuel. And I agree, but don't forget food is also culture. And being human is to understand culture. I'm not saying that food has to be that way. I'm saying food just realistically is that way. So if you're one of those people who enjoys the culture of food and the social aspect of food, there's nothing wrong with you. That's totally understandable. That's totally okay. We have been bred for thousands and thousands of years to appreciate the culture that surrounds food. It is very much built into our DNA, into our culture, and into our psychology. Knowing that that's the case, don't be afraid of the idea that maybe from time to time it's fun to play with food. It's good, maybe, to go to a party and take some sort of dish with you that took time to prepare. It takes skill to make a certain thing because it tastes really good that way. That's not the same thing as eating food that's bad for you or focusing on food in a negative way for a lot of people. Now, there's some people that might trigger and that might cause problems, and that's where you have to know yourself better than everybody else knows you. Like, I don't know who you are specifically, and it's not my job or my prerogative to tell you exactly what you should eat every single day of your life and how it's all going to work for you and what's the best. People that do the whole meal plan thing and they do that kind of stuff, I really hope that that's meant as a suggestion and like a, hey, here's an example, or here's some tools to help you out to make this easier, because that's very helpful. But if somebody is trying to say, this is exactly what you should eat, exactly how you should do it, and this is how it's going to make you feel, that's a lot of control to have over another human being's life, especially in a place that has things like our specific physiology and our genetics and our culture and everything all wrapped up into one great big mess with a bow, which is what food is. Just give yourself some grace, and if you need to make a few recipes because they stabilize you and it's like, well, it's a little more dairy than I would normally eat, but it also keeps me from going off the rails and having something I shouldn't. It's a whole lot better for me to make my carnivore pizza than it is for me to go out and go to the pizza place down the street. We had some friends over the other night. They really wanted to try it, and I made carnivore pizza. It's the first time I've made it in, gosh, months. They loved it, and I loved it, and it was really nice. And it's like, I can have pizza night with friends, and I don't have to cheat. It was really, really cool. There's reasons that these things can be useful tools. You just have to know yourself to know, do I need a tool? Am I trying to fall on something as an excuse so that I can have more of something than I should because it's not good for me, but I want it anyway? That's where you have to have personal accountability and personal responsibility, and you have to know for yourself. Those are just my thoughts for the day. I'm quite talkative this morning. I don't necessarily know if I got enough sleep last night, but I'm here and I think I'm feeling better. My teeth are healing fairly well. One over here likes to be a little sore, but it's getting a little better each day. So I think everything is going to be just fine, and we're doing our thing. We're taking care of everything. I'm trying to just keep focused on what's ahead. We're extremely, extremely busy. We are really excited to share Santa Looked a Lot Like Daddy with you. So if you don't mind, go to that link down below. I'm also going to put Ash's YouTube channel down below. If you have not gone and looked at her stuff, also put her website down there, so you can find anything of hers you want if you would like. If you haven't looked at her stuff and listened to any of her music or listened to the things that we do and that's something you're interested in, we would love for you to check it out. If you haven't listened to us play some country music, I think you're missing out, but I think it's really, really cool, and I think you guys really enjoy it. So I'll put all those links down below. Would really appreciate you guys going, pre-saving her song, sending it out to people, because as independent musicians, that's how we do it. Like, it's got to be from one person to another, because we don't have record labels and, you know, marketing companies and money behind it and all this kind of stuff. We have to do it all ourselves, and it's all via word of mouth. So if you guys are into that kind of thing and you want to go check it out, we'd sure appreciate it. That's going to be coming out Friday, and the music video will be coming out in December. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate y'all. I'm pulling into work here. I'm going to go try to have a good day. We'll see how it goes. And I just want you guys to know that I love you, and I really appreciate your support, because we can't do everything that we do without you. So thank you guys for watching. This is Chris Cooking Nashville. Eat your meat, love your life. I'll see you in my kitchen for the next recipe.